to fucking die! Where's Abby?
Those are your fucking people. You're my people.
I don't think I can ever forgive you for that. But I would like to try.
Ellie's Seattle adventure may be over, but Abby's is just beginning. When we left off, The Last of Us Part 2 made the daring choice to switch perspectives from Ellie to her, and by extension, our mortal enemy. This was a controversial twist, to say the least, and a lot of people quit the game at this point because they couldn't stand to play as Joel's killer. But I was excited to experience this story all over again from a different point of view. It's good value for money, you basically get 2 games for the price of 1, and it's a brand new way to tell a story in gaming. This is like if you got to play Resident Evil 4 all over again, but this time you play as Lord Sadler. When I first saw that Seattle Day 1 caption come up again, I thought it would follow Ellie's days more closely. We just spent 3 days as Ellie, a few steps behind Abby, and I thought this section would reveal that Abby was actually a few steps behind us the whole time. But Abby's story is less about showing where she was during Ellie's exploits, and more about following the themes of Ellie's story to their logical conclusion. Ellie's story is all about hunting down your dad's killer to get revenge, and Abby's story is about what happens after that revenge. The revenge itself didn't give her the peace she wanted, it just made it worse. So now she's looking for a way to relieve her guilt and achieve some sort of redemption. Before this day is over, she'll have found the heroic purpose that will set her off on the road to redemption.
Oh, easy.
May your survival be long.
And may your death be swift.
Oh, shit! Ambush!
Hang on! Stay low!
Just like Joel at the beginning of his story, and Ellie at the beginning of her story, and even Abby herself earlier in the prologue, Abby's story begins as she wakes up with a start. Not only does this create a parallel with Joel and Ellie right off the bat, it also highlights the main internal conflict of Abby's character arc. The nightmares still haven't stopped. She killed Joel to make the horrific images in her head go away, but that just put another horrific image in her head, so she still can't get a good night's sleep. Manny wakes her up to tell her they're being sent to the FOB. That's the forward operating base in the middle of the city, not a key FOB. Abby had to sleep in the library because Manny was using their apartment for a torrid affair with a meteorologist who was just as excited by the incoming storm as she was by Manny's sexual prowess. As Abby and Manny walk through the stadium where the Wolves have set up shop, we see just how big the WLF's operation is. They have a school, they have a gym, they have a food court, and they have a farm where they grow ingredients for the food court. You'd think showing all this would be enough to silence the critics who believe that Abby's physique is unrealistic. She clearly has regular access to protein and exercise equipment. But those people were never really bothered by the practicality anyway. They just hate seeing a strong woman. At the food court, you bump into Jordan, and he's still a dick, even to Abby.
It's nice to see you too, Abby.
Oh, Jordan. I didn't see you there.
I've played this game dozens of times, and Jordan is still the only one of Abby's friends I don't feel bad about killing. Owen and Mel and Nora and Manny all have at least a couple of redeeming qualities, but Jordan can go fuck himself. After leaving Jordan, we see one of Manny's redeeming qualities. He takes care of his ailing dad.
Hey, sir.
Ah, Abby.
How you feeling?
Fantastic. Would you please tell him to get rid of this?
Oh, I've tried.
Even the one who reveled in Joel's death and spat on his corpse has something to empathize with. Manny's dad tells Abby to keep him safe, and Abby says, "For you, I will." That's a bit of dark foreshadowing, because nothing can keep you safe when Tommy Miller is armed with a sniper rifle.
Keep him safe.
For you, I will.
3 days later.
As we see Abby and Manny talk to their fellow wolves, we learn the WLF's "May the Force be with you" style motto. One wolf says, "May your survival be long," to which the other wolf replies, "May your death be swift."
May your survival be long.
And may your death be swift.
Over the next 3 days, we'll see that no one's survival is long, and only Manny's death is swift. When Manny grabs 3 burritos from the cafeteria, Abby tells him to put one back because she thinks they only need 2, but he tells her a third person is joining them on their mission, Mel.
Now don't freak out. Mel's coming with us.
Manny?
Shit was already awkward between Abby and Mel before they went to Jackson because of the Owen factor. Mel is having a child with Abby's ex and suspects that Abby's ex still has feelings for her and vice versa. And even before that, it's hinted that Abby and Mel competed for Jerry's attention because Mel was Jerry's star pupil.
My dad always said you were his best student.
They've never had a perfect friendship.
You're a piece of shit, Abby.
But it's gotten a hell of a lot more awkward between Abby and Mel since sweet, naive Mel saw the brutality that Abby is capable of. When Manny points out that Mel was shaken up by what happened in Jackson, Abby reminds him she wanted Joel dead as much as the rest of us. But Manny has the perfect counter-argument. She's not like the rest of us.
She hasn't hurt people like that before.
She kills scars all the time.
Not the way we kill Joe. Don't forget, we are grunts. She's a medic.
They're all soldiers. They've been desensitized to violence. But Mel is a medic. She's not a violent person at heart. Manny wasn't fazed by Joel's death. He sees that kind of shit every day. He lives for it. But Mel was deeply disturbed. Abby tries to be cordial with Mel, but it's so awkward.
You could probably get a stay if you ask.
I'd rather not sit around if I don't have to.
No one's okay with this?
Why would it be up to Owen?
Manny tries to smooth things over, but he only adds to the awkwardness.
Hey. Do better.
Mel mentions that Owen is out on rotation with a guy named Danny. We'll hear from him later. And complains that Owen has been taking open assignments instead of preparing for the birth of their child.
Let's drive Owen crazy.
He hasn't even seen it yet.
He's clearly avoiding Mel, and both Mel and Abby know why. He doesn't really love her. You get Alice, the dog we just stabbed to death as Ellie, from the kennel, and play fetch with her friend Bear, another dog you can kill as Ellie. Abby grabs her guns from the armory and gets into a shooting competition with Manny on the firing range to determine who will clean the apartment. It gives you a chance to try out Abby's big rifle and get a feel for it before going into combat, but it also provides a bit of morbid irony if you know where the story is going. It doesn't matter who wins this competition because it doesn't matter who cleans the apartment. Abby is never going back there.
Have a nice day.
Manny grabs the keys to the truck and lets Alice in the front seat to force Abby and Mel to talk to each other.
Alice, get shotgun.
Mel's pregnant.
It's a good friend
Use
move,
the fresh air.
but it's also very sneaky.
Give you two a chance to talk.
Real soon, right?
As Abby, Mel, Manny and Alice all drive into the city, we see the extent of the little shantytown the wolves have built on the stadium grounds. Abby and Mel make uncomfortable small talk about food and work shifts, and when Mel makes another passive-aggressive remark about Abby and Owen, Abby finally calls her on it.
What did you mean about me and Owen?
I haven't seen him in like 2 weeks. He keeps picking up open assignments. Has he talked to you? Did he say anything? Or...
Mel hasn't seen Owen in 2 weeks, and she thinks Abby might know something she doesn't. But Abby hasn't really talked to Owen since Jackson. They see each other around the stadium, but they barely make eye contact.
No, we're still not. I mean, I seen him in the mess hall, but we walk around each other. Jackson shook me. You know, I wouldn't read too much into it.
Mel is clearly suspicious, but she won't have a reason to be suspicious until later in the day. But there's no time to interrogate those suspicions now. On their way to the highway, their truck is ambushed by Scars on horseback.
Oh, shit! Ambush!
Hang on! No, stay low! Kill the wolves! They were waiting for us. Yeah. What the fuck do you think we're doing?
You can put up a noble effort, but they eventually hit the truck with a Molotov and run you off the road. Miraculously, the heavily pregnant woman sitting on a bench in the back of the truck is unscathed in the crash. But the truck is total, so you have to continue to the fob on foot.
How far away from the fob?
It's a hike.
Hey, why have you been avoiding me?
I wasn't avoiding you.
Come on, you've barely said anything to me since Jackson.
I don't know. I guess I was shook by Jackson, too.
After the Seraphite ambush, Abby, Mel, Manny, and Alice all take refuge in a B&Q type shop where you can get plywood, plasterboard, and a brain infection that turns you into a ravenous zombie. Before you even make it out of the staff area, you start seeing the upsides of playing as Abby. She's bulky enough to choke out runners, she's trained in military operations, and she knows how to make pipe bombs.
There's enough stuff here to make a pipe bomb.
Ellie made Molotovs, Abby makes pipe bombs. Ellie set people on fire, Abby blasts them to kingdom come. Abby's muscles come in very handy. String Bean Ellie is useless in hand-to-hand combat, even with a switchblade in her hand. But Abby is basically Reacher with a braided ponytail. Ellie's stealth kill animation is a knife to the head, but Abby's is breaking their neck with her bare hands. Those first couple of infected lurking in the aisles, browsing the paint cans, are nothing compared to what's waiting for you in the back by the garden center. As Abby climbs over a shelving unit, the whole thing collapses and attracts a dozen or so runners and clickers and a bastard shambles. It's a pain in the arse of an encounter, especially since you're not accustomed to these guns, but it's a great opportunity to try out that pipe bomb. They make short work of bastard shambles. As they leave B&Q and start heading towards the fob, Abby, Mel, and Manny mention an unsuccessful truce between the wolves and the scars.
Getting nostalgic about the truce? Easier days, huh?
Isaac tried to broker a deal with the Seraphite leaders to call off the war. Both sides agreed to cease fire and stay in their respective territories, and for a short while that put an end to the fighting. But the truce soon broke down because some scars killed some wolves. Mel points out that that killing was retaliation for the wolves killing some kids, but Manny points out that those kids had killed some wolves.
We let her guard them, and they strung up an entire squad.
That was in retaliation to us shooting those kids.
Okay, but those kids attacked our guys.
It points once again to the endless cycle of violence.
Endless cycle of violence.
Gil walked me down the story, and he was like, this cycle of violence.
Acts of violence that then would beget more acts of violence.
It's the same thing Jesse was talking about.
I mean, we're going through a lot of their people. In their city.
Because of what they did.
Didn't Abby and her friends come to Jackson because of something Joel did?
Ellie wants to kill Abby because she killed Joel, but Abby killed Joel because he killed Jerry, but he killed Jerry because he was going to kill Ellie, but on a much grander scale. To get into a locked boat workshop, Abby has to go in through the roof. As she nervously climbs down a rope, we're reminded that she has a debilitating fear of heights. Which they're still setting up for the long con. The door crank breaks after Manny and Alice get out, leaving Abby alone with Mel. This forces Abby to finally address the elephant in the room.
Hey, why have you been avoiding me?
I wasn't avoiding you.
Come on, you've barely said anything to me since Jackson.
Mel admits that she was shook by Jackson too.
I guess I was shook by Jackson too.
She's putting it mildly, but seeing Abby beat a man to death has given her pause. Abby asks Mel if she thinks Joel deserved what she did to him, but Mel thinks he deserved even worse, although I don't know how it could get much worse. She just regrets being a part of it.
You don't think Joel deserved what he got?
I think he deserved worse. I just wish I didn't take part in it.
That's very fucking rich. So she wants Joel dead, she thinks he deserves a slow, painful golf club death, but she wants to wash her hands of it and keep her conscience clean.
What? You really killed someone? Holy moly, I don't think I want to hear this.
You were there with us.
You're so weird. Last night I was in St. Louis. I even have a picture. See that? That's yesterday's date on that newspaper. Good luck with that whole you three and not me killed a guy thing.
This reminds me of an earlier exchange between Ellie and Dina. When they found what was left of Nick after Tommy got his hands on him, Dina told Ellie that if she had her sister's killer strapped to a chair, she'd do much worse.
If I had my sister's killers tied to a chair, I'd do worse.
They all have the desire for revenge, but they don't all have the wherewithal to exact it. Dina and Mel experience the same grief as Ellie and Abby, but they don't have it in them to turn that grief into violence. And the people who do end up being the most broken. People like Ellie and Abby realize they don't have the wherewithal after the fact, when it's too late. As Mel confesses her misgivings about what happened in Jackson, Abby scoffs at her.
I get it. What kind of a person could do that, right?
I'm not saying that.
Let's see if there's a way to the hatch.
Mel thinks Abby's being salty, but I think she's letting her internal struggle show. The mask is slipping off and her insecurities are showing. Even she can't believe she could do that to someone.
We're done.
And she's been grappling with that ever since. Everyone in Abby's circle was shocked by what Abby did in Jackson, including Abby. They spot a hatch in the ceiling and climb across the boat to get to it. Abby and Mel both mention the sailboat that Owen has been trying to fix up, which will become a major plot point later on.
Get a bucket and a mop, that's some wet ass pussy.
Abby and Mel joke about their dorky obsessions, Abby with old coins and Mel with dog toys, and Abby mentions something about Mel being Jerry's best student.
For what it's worth, my dad always said you were his best student.
He did? Well, he always said he was an idiot.
They're starting to get along again. They still haven't solved anything, and Mel's suspicions are still hanging over them, but even just airing their grievances for a couple of minutes did a world of good. It shows just how far an open conversation can go.
Let's talk! Let's try words! Use words!
All these conflicts are being resolved with bloodshed when a heart-to-heart, even a feeble one like the one Abby and Mel just had, is a much more effective means of conflict resolution.
If Owen's out there, how the hell are you going to find him?
I know where he'll go.
After getting pinned down by scars at a petrol station, Abby, Manny, Mel, and Alice are all saved by a passing WLF truck and taken the rest of the way to the fob. They drop off Mel to get her wounds looked at before bringing Abby and Manny to the main gate, where they're expected to meet with their dear leader, Isaac. On the way through, you can restock your ammo, bust balls with some of the fellow troops, and bump into Whitney, aka PS Vita Girl, once again playing games on her PS Vita.
Oh, hey, Abby.
She tells Abby she's being shipped out to the hospital, which we already know won't end well. She'll get so engrossed in the PS Vita that Ellie gets the drop on her. That PS Vita will be her undoing.
That game good?
Really hard. Or really good.
Before going up to see Isaac, Abby and Manny stop by to see Nora in the medical tent where she's treating Mel's wounds.
You guys need to convince this girl to relax.
Hey, Mel. Relax.
You got it.
Nora's also shipping out to the hospital, and it also won't end well for her. After finishing up on Mel, Nora takes Abby and Manny over to look at a body bag. There are tons piling up, and more coming in by the hour.
Are these all ours?
Tommy, Ellie, and Dina have arrived in Seattle. Mel could have ended up just like one of these poor saps. A lot of people have questioned why a fit-to-burst pregnant woman would go out on active military duty in the first place, either calling it a plot hole or a barbaric policy of the WLFs. But they're at war, and trained medics are probably in short supply. Mel even says she'd hate to hear Abby and Manny got into trouble and she wasn't there to perform her surgical magic. Although ironically, Mel is the only one who ended up needing medical treatment, so she's just leeching those scarce medical resources away from her fellow wolves on the day they need it most, the day Joel's family have come to town looking for revenge. Nora takes Abby and Manny past a sea of body bags to look at one in particular, containing the remains of Danny, the guy Owen was out on patrol with.
Holy shit. It's Danny.
Abby immediately worries something bad has happened to Owen. She turns away as if to turn her back on the possibility that this horrific feeling of loss is happening to her all over again.
Where's Owen?
I love the way Laura Bailey plays the pause before Abby asks where's Owen. She wants to ask the question, but she doesn't want to hear the answer, so she hesitates. Owen isn't in one of these body bags, thankfully, but he is AWOL. Isaac hasn't bothered to send a search party, much to Abby's dismay, and he wants to see them, so they head over to the next building, where we finally meet the infamous Isaac torturing a Seraphite.
Don't let him fall asleep.
As he leaves behind his victim to talk shop with Abby and Manny, Isaac tells his seat filler don't let him fall asleep. This instantly shows him to be a ruthless, warmongering tyrant. With one chilling line, Isaac lives up to all the mystique that's been built around the character and all the stories we've heard about him. It's like Marlon Brando's turn as Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now.
We could try another truce. But how long before some asshole on their side or our side unravels the whole thing?
Jeffrey Wright was the perfect casting for this part. It's no wonder they kept him for the TV show. He has one of the richest voices in Hollywood and he brings so much gravitas to the role. Isaac only appears in a couple of scenes in the game, but the weight of his experiences shines through in Wright's performance. He's got this grizzled, aging, mad dictator vibe, like the last days of Caesar.
It has to be all of them.
Sir, we'll try attacking their island.
Not like this. Not with everyone.
Isaac lets Abby and Manny in on a little secret. He's planning an assault on Scar Island to end the war once and for all by killing every last one of them. No more truces, no more ceasefires, just the complete elimination of the Seraphite people. There's a storm a few days out, the same storm we just sailed through the city as Ellie, and the same storm Manny's lover was so excited about. And Isaac is planning to use the cover of thunder and lightning to mask their approach. They'll ride the storm onto the shores of the island and just start massacring the Scars. That's his big master plan, a crude, poorly planned invasion of the enemy's turf. About as much thought has gone into this plan as Walter Sobchak's plan in The Big Lebowski.
We make the handoff, I grab one of them, beat it out of him. Huh? That's a great plan, Walter. That's fucking ingenious, if I understand it correctly. It's a Swiss fucking watch.
But Isaac's really jazzed about it. He's convinced this is the best way forward, and he wants Abby and Manny, his top 2 killers, to lead the first wave. Abby casually mentions that she wants Owen on her squad.
I want Owen. When are he and Danny getting back?
This slightly changes the subject and forces Isaac to address Owen's whereabouts, but Isaac sees right through her.
Who talked, Nora? No secrets between the Salt Lake crew, huh?
It still bothers him that the ex-Fireflies have more loyalty to each other than to him. According to the Grounded 2 making-of documentary, it was Wright's idea for Isaac to start munching on an apple while he's discussing his war plans.
And then we did so many takes, and Jeffrey insisted on eating an apple on every take just to make it authentic, so he ate a bunch of apples.
I love it. It's very Roman or Shakespearean. Isaac tells Abby the whole story. When Danny returned to base with a fatal gunshot wound, he accused Owen of shooting him to protect a scar. Abby doesn't believe it, but Isaac does.
It's bullshit.
Excuse me?
That's not Owen. You got it wrong.
You're saying Danny used his last breath to lie to me?
Isaac won't send a search party for Owen because, as far as he's concerned, Owen is a traitor in bed with the Scars. Isaac's more inclined to send a hunting party to gun Owen down for sport. And he won't even let Abby go after him alone because he needs her full attention on this insane Riders on the Storm plan of his. But love is a powerful drug, so Abby decides to defy Isaac's orders and go after Owen anyway. Manny asks her how she plans on finding him in this vast, war-torn metropolis, but Abby is certain she knows where he'll be heading.
If Owen's out there, how the hell are you going to find him?
I know where he'll go.
As she looks out at that pesky Ferris wheel, we take a break from all this talk of torture and genocide for one of the sweetest, most romantic flashbacks in the game.
Oh my god.
Whoa. You don't see that every day. Can you imagine this place filled with people? Kids laughing, running around.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. Talk to me.
3 years earlier, we see young Owen taking young Abby to check out the aquarium and the adjoining Ferris wheel. This aquarium will become Owen's home away from home, but he's only just discovered it and he's excited to show Abby around. Owen is having the time of his life swinging around on a Ferris wheel pod, but Abby isn't getting swept up in the fun. She wants to go back to base because they've only just joined the Wolves, so she's worried about ruffling feathers and getting into trouble, but Owen wants to explore. Abby's response to Jerry's death has been very similar to Joel's grieving process after he lost Sarah. She's closed herself off emotionally, she won't let anyone in, but she's seething, quietly devastated. Owen has picked up on that and he's determined to cheer her up, so he's taken her to the Nautical Dream Factory.
Sit on the edge, or you can go down here on the kid seat and look at this view with me.
As Owen climbs up and gets ready to jump off the Ferris wheel, Abby tells him she'll break up with him if he jumps.
Owen, I'm serious. I will break up with you. Owen.
I always loved you.
Stop! Owen!
This hints that they've gotten together by this point, but the relationship is clearly in a rough spot, and through no fault of their own. In the earlier flashbacks, we saw that on the day Jerry died, Abby and Owen were just starting to fall in love. It was so obvious that even her dad noticed it, and dads usually don't notice anything. But Jerry's untimely death cast a long, dark shadow over their courtship. They've begun a relationship, and they clearly both still love each other, but that cloud of grief is hanging over them. Owen is desperate to get things back on track and turn Abby's frown upside down, but the unfortunate truth is that she won't let this go as long as Joel continues to draw breath.
But Joel's still out there, you know?
And what she doesn't realize is that beating the breath out of him won't turn her frown upside down either. The aquarium represents freedom and wonder and the unknown. The stadium represents the subservient life of a foot soldier in an unnecessary war. Owen is drawn to the former, Abby is drawn to the latter. Owen is sick of taking orders and killing people for yet another pointless cause, so he wants to see what else is out there. But Abby craves the stability that the WLF provides. Having just lost her dad, she's desperate for a father figure to give her guidance and purpose. And Isaac took advantage of that to turn her into his most obedient scar-killing machine. Trying to get Abby to forget about her worries and her strife is a futile endeavor, but Owen makes a good go of it with the aquarium visit. Even ravaged by the apocalypse, this aquarium is a beautiful, magical place.
Oh my god.
Whoa. You don't see that every day.
Neither of them have ever been to an aquarium before, so they don't really know what it is. Owen assumes it's a zoo for fish, which is a pretty good guess.
I think it's like one of those zoos, but for fish.
Shut up.
I love all this stuff with the first generation born after the outbreak exploring the remnants of a pre-outbreak world. We got hints of that in the first game, like when Ellie's mind was blown by an ice cream van in Pittsburgh.
You're totally fucking with me.
But there's a lot more emphasis on that next generation in part 2.
Can you imagine this place filled with people? Kids laughing, running around.
They've grown up in a completely different reality, and the reality of aquariums and ice cream vans and comic conventions is totally alien to them.
You were born in the wrong time, man.
Abby and Owen have a bit of banter about seals, which reminds us that their love language is playful insults.
Those are sea lions.
No, you don't know.
And also sets up a really beautiful moment much later down the line. Some people think these aquarium scenes are boring and unnecessary, and Abby's day one flashbacks do undoubtedly take a toll on the overall pacing of the story. But I relish the brief respites in this game, and I love seeing Abby and Owen together, bouncing off each other. Laura Bailey and the kid from Almost Famous have a really easy, natural repartee in these roles.
Oh, you sure?
Not really, actually. See how nice you are to me first.
You're a dick.
Not a great start.
This flashback marks the first appearance of the sailboat, Owen's endless DIY project, which will become a major piece of symbolism, and in a more tangible sense, a crucial plot point. That sailboat will come to represent the possibility of a brighter future away from the barbarity of the WLF. If Owen can get it working again, then they can leave the wolves behind for good and chase rumors of the Fireflies regrouping in Santa Barbara. When they first discover the boat, they find that it's full of toys, clothes, and kids' drawings. A family lived here and built a life here. It beautifully visualizes the core theme of this story, juxtaposing the hope and wonder and innocence of childhood against the bleak backdrop of the end times.
Aw, are those monkeys?
Among the toys, there's a little robot figurine, recalling Sam and his pure, childlike innocence. The drawings are brilliantly done. They have the simplicity and innocence of a child's drawing, but there's this slight creepy edge with grotesque, monstrous teeth. In the main bit of the aquarium, there's a giant whale hanging from the ceiling, protecting a little baby whale under its fin. This is another perfect visual symbol of the themes at play, a parent's unwavering protectiveness and love for their young. Those two whales are just like Joel and Ellie, or Jerry and Abby, or Abby and Lev, or Dina and JJ. There are pictures of the family that lived on the boat painted on the walls.
I think it's the same family from the boat.
And there's a door labeled Max's place, but it's locked. This family created their own little paradise here, away from the horrors of the zombie-infested outside world, to keep young Max living in blissful ignorance. But the horrors of the outside world eventually creeped in, and according to a note left by Max's dad, Max and his older brother ran away to join the Seraphites. Upstairs, Dad's skeleton is crumbling to dust, clutching a letter from the eldest son, Ricky. In the letter, Ricky calls his dad a coward for not avenging their mum's death, which ties into the overall theme of revenge. This is yet another way that this desire for vengeance is destructive. The loss of the mother should have brought the father and sons together, but it tore them apart. Abby's here, distracted by her desperate desire to make Joel pay, and she can't see that the exact same desire caused this guy's kids to abandon him. That skeleton isn't just holding on to the letter, it also has the key to Max's place.
What is wrong with you?
He's a skeleton. He doesn't need them.
On the way downstairs to use the key, Abby wonders why Max and Ricky ran off to join the Seraphites.
I just don't understand how anybody willingly joins the Scars.
Why not?
Because they're an insane cult. That's why.
She's already been indoctrinated by WLF propaganda. She's looking for an enemy. She's looking for something to give her purpose and something to direct her rage at. So she ate up all of Isaac's anti-Seraphite bullshit, and she already views them as this scourge on humanity that needs to be wiped out. But Owen is still glass half full, willing to give the Scars the benefit of the doubt. Abby calls the Scars an insane cult, but Owen reminds her that the Fireflies were called terrorists by the naysayers.
Well, in the QZs, people would refer to the Fireflies as terrorists. Fanatics.
It's not the same.
He has a point, it's all spin. You can convince anyone that anyone is anything if you use the right buzzwords. Just look at all the Fox News rhetoric about trans Antifa immigrant race theory. But as Owen tries to humanize the Scars and see their side of the story, Abby warily tells him to keep those opinions to himself.
I'm just saying...
Don't say shit like that at the stadium, okay?
She's worried his big heart will get him killed or exiled, and in light of recent events, she wasn't wrong.
People hear that story. Owen's dead.
Abby's fear of heights comes back a couple of times in this flashback. First when she reluctantly jumps off the Ferris wheel, and again as she climbs down the elevator shaft.
Don't tell me you want to go down there.
Come on.
At the bottom of the shaft, they finally get to Max's place. It's basically a cardboard castle built around a blanket fort in a dome surrounded by SEAL tanks, with more delightful murals scrolled on the walls. Max's place was a place where this innocent kid could go to escape the horrors of cordyceps and hunters and the complete breakdown of society. This whole setting is a perfect visualization of the glimmers of hope in a hopeless world that The Last of Us peddles in.
See that? Told you they were spotted.
Yeah.
As they watch a seal swim by, Owen kisses Abby, but she pulls away. She apologizes, but he doesn't want an apology. He wants open communication.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. Talk to me.
Abby wants to put her cares aside and enjoy the aquarium, but she's still very much consumed by grief and her desire for revenge. The leads on Joel's location have all dried up, but Joel's still out there, and she can't rest as long as her dad's killer is still out there somewhere, living his best life. We've seen that Abby and Owen would eventually break up when this grief-stricken rift became too much, and that Owen would get together with Mel on the rebound because Abby just couldn't let go.
But Joel's still out there, you know?
I know.
This relationship is just one more thing Joel's fateful decision has fucked up. Abby and Owen would have been a perfect love story if Joel hadn't thrown a spanner in the works by murdering her dad. In the immortal words of Robin Scherbatsky, if you have chemistry, you only need one other thing, timing. But timing's a bitch.
If you have chemistry, you only need one other thing.
What's that?
Timing. But timing's a bitch.
Abby really thought killing Joel would make everything finally go back to normal. She had all her eggs in that basket, which explains why she's so lost in the present day timeline. Abby leaves Owen at the aquarium, all alone, foreshadowing the breakup, Abby's descent into darkness, and Owen's steadfast refusal to give up looking for the light.
I'm sorry.
I told you already. Don't be sorry.
Back in the present day, Abby is setting off for the aquarium to find Owen. Up until this point, Abby's day one has brought the pacing of the game grinding to a halt, especially after the breakneck intensity of Ellie's day 3. It's been necessary to slow down, to set up Abby's world, her supporting cast, her role in the Civil War, her current headspace after making the worst mistake of her life. And you don't really notice the slowdown on your first playthrough, because you're just so bowled over by this radical narrative shift that you're just excited to keep going and see where this takes us. But when you go back and replay, which I've done somewhere between 25 and 50 times, the game really starts to drag when you get to Abby day 1. It's not because Abby's story is less interesting than Ellie's, it's just the nature of jumping straight from the nail-biting climactic action of Ellie's quest for revenge back to square one and starting a whole new story from the ground up. When you don't know what that new story is, you're intrigued, but when you do, you're just waiting for it to get going. As you go through the stadium and the boat workshop and the train yard, you're just looking forward to that chance encounter with Lev and Yara and the emotional gut punches that follow. In this section, Hostile Territory, Abby's day 1 finally starts to pick up and get a bit more exciting. And then, I'd argue, it might get a bit too exciting with perhaps the single most relentlessly intense sequence of gameplay I've ever had the relief of conquering. As Abby defies Isaac's orders to go looking for Owen, Manny helps her sneak out of the fob and even offers to come with her.
I'm coming with you.
I've done this before.
Not with these many scars in the area.
Manny, please.
It's yet another example of Manny being a good friend. Again, this is the guy who spat on Joel's corpse. Barring Abby herself, he's the member of the Salt Lake crew we've been manipulated to hate the most. And we keep seeing evidence of a softer side and a fierce loyalty that make you question that hatred.
You're a good friend.
Come on, Abs. You know I can't handle all this emotion.
On the way out, you stumble into another one of Manny's love nests and find a salacious love letter from one of his many sexual partners. Every single time I play the game, I try to read the whole thing before Manny snatches it out of my hands. And every single time, I only get about halfway. I know I could just Google it and read a screenshot, but where's the fun in that?
Hey!
That's private.
Oh my god. This is your place? How many sex dens do you have in this QZ?
¿Qué? Perdón, no hablo inglés.
As Abby starts heading towards the aquarium, she's surprised by a clicker almost immediately.
Oh shit!
This is a nice early sign that getting to the aquarium will be a lot easier said than done, and that Abby's 3 days won't be any less intense than Ellie's were.
Off to a great start.
One of the great tragedies of this character, maybe on par with the untimely death of her dad, is that she's hilarious, but no one gets her. Abby is so funny, and it breaks my heart that Owen is the only person who appreciates her humor.
Put me up on the board, Owen.
Lev doesn't even understand the concept of a joke.
That's the joke, Lev.
And in scenes like these, there's no one around to hear Abby's zingers. She has another great one-liner when she sees a "May She Guide You" mural and completes the sentiment right off a cliff.
Yeah, guide you right off a cliff.
There's a brief open world style part in Chinatown, with a couple of shops to explore, a couple of clickers to kill, and one of the most unexpected jump scares in the game. Plus a few Seraphite prayers you can read and sarcastically remark on.
Ooh, someone wants to get laid.
And then you get to Martha's Gate, and that's where shit gets real. This is Abby's Hillcrest, an entire street crawling with heavily armed enemies, and you have to make it to the other side without being killed. There are a million ways to tackle this encounter, just like there were in Hillcrest. But unlike with Hillcrest, I can actually successfully stealth my way through this one, at least until you get inside the building and start zigzagging down the floors. As Abby makes her way through the building, she realizes she's wandered into a Seraphite camp.
Hope Owen didn't come this way.
It says a lot about her character that her first thought isn't woe is me, it's I hope Owen didn't come this way.
Butterbean okay?
She's getting closer to that goddamn Ferris wheel you spend half the game chasing. You just have to get down to the street and it's a straight shot to the aquarium. But as soon as you get down to the street, you're pinned down by a Seraphite brute. Abby puts up a hell of a fight and even bites off the brute's ear. Abby's go-to move when she's losing a fight is to bite something off. Later, she'll go for Ellie's fingers.
Oh, my fingers! Cut off my fingers!
Just when it seems like Abby might be able to escape, the other scars rush in and hold her down.
Hammer!
A braided lady comes over with a hammer to knock her out. Her calmness always freaks me out. She walks really slowly, really determined, really cool and collected, and it's being juxtaposed with Abby frantically writhing around, fighting for her life. It's a small detail in the actor's body language, but it makes this whole situation 10 times creepier. The hammer comes down and we cut to black. And I always wince imagining the damage that hammer just did to Abby's skull and the precious organ housed within it.
No, I wish someone loved me enough to make me a stocking.
You don't deserve one.
What, a stocking? Or someone who loves me?
Now it's back to the aquarium for another refreshingly low-stakes flashback. 4 months earlier, we see that Owen has turned the aquarium into a home away from home, a place where he can go to escape the warfare, escape Isaac's tyrannical rule, and get away from it all. He's decorated the aquarium for Christmas, and Mel is there with him, but she's taken Alice out for a walk. On the one hand, this flashback is a welcome respite in between two of the game's most intense set pieces. But on the other hand, it completely deflates the tension that the first set piece built going into the second one. A lot of the flashbacks hurt the game's pacing. It's one of the biggest issues preventing Part 2 from being the untouchable masterpiece of storytelling that Part 1 is. But none of them torpedo the forward momentum of the present day action quite like Winter Visit. Gameplay-wise, this flashback is basically a light-hearted little mini-game wedged in between two brutal sequences where you're desperately fending off certain doom. It's an archery competition with a toy bow and arrow, and the only thing at stake is Mel's record. Abby tries to update Owen on Isaac's current orders, but Owen pleads with her to hold off on the Isaac talk.
You know what? Just, how about we hold off on the Isaac talk for just a minute?
This perfectly encapsulates their differing attitudes towards Isaac's leadership. Abby has found the father figure she craves, but Owen can see Isaac for the ruthless dictator he really is. Owen has started painting over or embellishing Max's mural.
You're not painting over Max's mural.
I'm embellishing it.
And he mentions the possibility of the Fireflies regrouping in Santa Barbara, which Abby dismisses as a rumor.
Oh, did you hear another Firefly joined last month?
Ex-Firefly.
Well, she'd also heard about a regroup in Santa Barbara.
Was there any proof to go along with that rumor?
No.
How about that?
That's the first mention of Santa Barbara, and it'll form the backbone of the game's final act. Abby lets slip one of her classic cries for help as she yearns for the kind of true love she squandered when she was with Owen.
I think it's adorable.
I think you can go fuck yourself.
No, I wish someone loved me enough to make me a stocking.
You don't deserve one.
What, a stocking? Or someone who loves me?
The real dramatic purpose of this flashback rears its head when Abby takes Owen to one side and giddily tells him she's tracked down Joel's brother. He's in Jackson, and everyone's on board to go after him, even Isaac.
Who's more about justice than Isaac?
This scene isn't strictly necessary, it doesn't provide any new information, and it fills in gaps we could have filled in for ourselves, but I'll take any respite I can get, especially considering the section that's coming up next. I fucking hate this part. I love it from a story perspective. It's the inciting incident of Abby's redemption arc, pairing her up with an Ellie-like beam of childlike innocence that will guide her back to the light. But I hate playing through it. You have to fend off a horde of stalkers with your bare hands in the pitch black. It's shit scary and very stressful. We cut back in from the winter visit flashback with maybe the most cinematic cutscene in the entire game. Hell, maybe the most cinematic cutscene in the history of gaming. It all plays out in an incredible long take. Abby is dragged out into the woods to be hanged alongside a Seraphite runaway, who's promptly rescued by her younger brother. And against their better judgment, Abby and these Seraphite kids join forces to escape the woods together. It's an amazing wanna, almost Spielbergian in its execution. There's so much going on, all meticulously blocked and staged. The camera is constantly on the move and captures everything at just the right moment from just the right angle. And above all, this whole sequence has a really chilling atmosphere. The crackling thunder on the soundtrack, underscored by ominous tones, is deeply unnerving, and the entire scene is lit by a burning car. This is one of the scariest and most intense parts of the game, and on your first playthrough and all the chaos and confusion and panic, you don't realize quite how important these new characters are. It's relentlessly brutal, with a lot of hammer-inflicted blunt force trauma. The Seraphites bang up Yara's arm with a hammer.
Oh my god! Oh my god, the blood!
Then Yara jams that same hammer in her would-be executioner's skull. It's heart-pounding stuff. Abby's alliance with Lev and Yara is uneasy from the jump. Abby wraps her legs around the executioner's neck before she can kill Yara, essentially saving Yara's life. But it's as much to give her own noose some slack as it is to spare this young Scar from a swift death. When Lev comes over to help Yara, he's reluctant to help Abby, but Yara forces him to cut her down to repay the favor.
Cut her down. She's one of them. Lev.
Besides his hesitation over saving Abby's life, Lev's introduction is so badass. We see his deadly handiwork before we get a good look at Lev himself. He's the stealthy, sharpshooting archer lurking in the shadows, striking from an unseen vantage point. We can just about make out a little silhouette sneaking through the bushes, but we're expecting the assailant causing all this mayhem to be older than 13. Then, when Hawkeye comes into the light, we're surprised to find he's the sweetest, most adorable little boy this side of the Ferris wheel. Much like Joel's ordeal in the hotel basement in Pittsburgh, and Ellie's rumble with the stalkers on the way to the hospital, I always dread this part when I replay the game. You get whiplash from just how quickly this section of gameplay goes from 0 to 100. When you get to Abby's day 1, you have to get through about an hour of conversations and setups and uneventful flashbacks. But the whole time, you know you're about to get thrown into a fighting pit in the dark with a bunch of ravenous creatures that can see in the dark and thrive in the dark. I hate it. But this is when Abby's story really kicks into gear. The dramatic hook of her story becomes clear. This isn't about showing where Abby was when Ellie was chasing her. It's about Abby achieving the same redemption that Joel did in the first game. Taking a young ward under her wing, doing everything in her power to protect this little angel, for better and for worse, and ultimately finding a new reason to live. The fateful encounter that brings Abby and Lev and Yara together is a lot more urgent and terrifying than the circumstances that brought Joel and Ellie together. Joel was hired to transport Ellie out of the QZ as if she was human cargo, but Abby and these young Seraphite siblings are brought together by pure survival instinct. They stick together because they'll die otherwise, and they're all full of adrenaline and in shock. As she follows Lev and Yara through the woods, a delirious, traumatized Abby wonders out loud why she's helping these Scars and accepting their help.
What the hell am I doing?
But she doesn't have time to second guess it. Abby will die if she doesn't have Lev and Yara to show her the way out of the woods, and Lev and Yara will die if they don't have Abby's muscles available to shove barricaded doors open or rip chain link fences apart.
Go.
After facing what felt like 1,000 stalkers with nothing more than a beer bottle and a pair of fists, admittedly very, very strong fists for protection, Abby finally gets her weapons back from the Seraphite brute who stole them.
Are you wearing my backpack?
I love the nerve of this brute to send Abby off to be hanged and then start wearing her backpack. I also love how she begs for her life after she's just been swinging a sledgehammer at you for 15 minutes.
No!
You want mercy now? Keep dreaming, bitch.
You guys alright? Yes.
Lev says the Seraphites are coming after them because he shaved his head. Abby thinks he's being sarcastic, but Lev doesn't even know how to be sarcastic. Abby can't imagine anyone would be executed for something so innocuous, especially since all the Seraphite men have shaved heads.
What the hell did you do?
I shaved my head.
Fine, don't tell me.
But Lev is telling the truth. It's not the act of shaving his head that got him in trouble, it's the statement behind it. Later on, when she feels she can trust Abby, Yara will explain what happened. Lev was born biologically female, but he grew up to identify as male. The elders, who had already twisted the prophet's teachings of love and unity to suit their own self-interests anyway, didn't recognize Lev as a boy and assigned him to be one of their wives. So he shaved his head as an act of defiance, and to declare his gender identity to the world. And the elders didn't like that.
When he explained to me how he felt inside, I told him he had to keep it to himself.
Unfortunately, this isn't a story that's confined to a fictional post-apocalyptic dystopia. All over the world, people are being denied the right to be themselves and live their life in a way that feels right to them. And we seem to be going backwards, not forwards. Lev's story in The Last of Us Part 2 reflects the very real horrors of bigotry and transphobia. Some might say a bit too aggressively, what with all the dead names hurled at him by his former cult mates.
I heard some of your people calling him Lily.
It's Lily!
This whole chapter makes my heart rate spike, but I fucking hate the restaurant holdout encounter. While you're fleeing from the infected, you find yourself trapped inside an abandoned eatery. Abby boosts Lev and Yara through a window on the condition that they find a way for her to get out.
Your turn. Watch that arm.
As you wait for them to open up an ambulance that's crashed through the wall, you have to fend off waves of runners and clickers and bloaters. It probably takes Lev about 5 minutes to get the ambulance open, if that, but it feels like an eternity. It's pitch black, you've got infected coming at you from every direction, and the building is designed so there's nowhere with a clear view of all the entry points. It's worse than the Rat King. This is like if there were 2 Rat Kings in the hospital basement, and you could never get eyes on both of them at once. It sucks, but the feeling of relief you get when Lev finally lets you into that ambulance is a more euphoric high than heroin and crack combined.
Wolf, hurry!
Oh, man.
As Lev tries to find them shelter behind an unlocked door, Abby carries Yara to safety. The image is reminiscent of Joel carrying Sarah through the outbreak and carrying Ellie through the hospital. Already, we're starting to see just how similar Abby is to her mortal enemy. Abby sets Yara's arm with a broken chair leg. Her dad was a doctor, so she knows how to do basic first aid, although breaking the chair leg was her own personal touch. Abby won't admit it to herself yet, but she likes how it makes her feel to look after these kids. It feels much better than dwelling on vengeance.
Owen? Owen? Hey, Owen? Owen!
After making sure Lev and Yara are going to be okay, Abby leaves on her own to continue her search for Owen. Before she goes, she warns Lev and Yara not to stay for long and to keep moving, because the Seraphites will still be looking for them.
Whatever shape she's in, we need to get out of here by tomorrow. We'll be fine.
She keeps snidely telling these kids she doesn't care if they live or die, but her actions tell a different story. She already cares about these kids, and she wants them to make it. And if she didn't have somewhere else to be, she'd probably stay with them. But Owen is still out there, and the aquarium is just a hop, skip, and a jump away from this rain-soaked shipping yard. The rest of the way to Owen's little slice of paradise is teeming with infected. A perfect end to a perfect day. After trudging through a moist, monster-infested hellhole, you finally get to the aquarium, but the doors are locked, so you have to break in, and then you find Owen's bag with clothes covered in blood. He's here, but he might be hurt.
Is that blood?
Finally, after all this fucking faff, you find Owen feeling sorry for himself on the sailboat, drinking, drowning his sorrows, looking for the answer to all his problems at the bottom of a bottle.
That's fucking cruel. Isaac sends you after me.
He assumes Isaac has sent Abby to tug on his heartstrings and bring him back to base, which he rightly points out would be fucking cruel. But Abby clarifies that Isaac didn't send her, and that she actually defied his orders to come and find Owen. What Isaac did is actually much crueler. He didn't send anyone to look for Owen, and just hoped word would get around and one of the other wolves would gun him down for sport. When the dust has cleared, Owen finally gets to tell his side of the story of what happened with Danny. We've heard Danny's side of it, his dramatic final breath monologue to Isaac on the fainting couch.
You're saying Danny used his last breath to lie to me?
And now we can hear Owen's side, and his explanation is much more reasonable and much less sinister than what he was accused of.
I've killed a lot of scars. And, this fucking guy. I couldn't do it.
He's just done with all the fighting. He didn't want to kill a defenseless old man, and Danny was more than happy to do it, so Owen intervened.
I can fix this. I'll talk to Isaac.
I am tired, Abby. I don't want to fight over land that I don't give a fuck about anymore.
Protecting the old man was noble, but Owen is planning to just ditch Mel and his unborn child, which is pretty fucked up. As we've seen time and time again, the characters of The Last of Us contain multitudes.
Here I thought you were nothing more than a worthless dirtbag. Nah, I contain multitudes, yo.
No one in these games is 100% good or 100% bad, except David. He's pure evil, top to bottom. Owen has no intention of going back to the WLF. He wants to finish fixing up the boat, set sail on the high seas, and go to Santa Barbara to chase the Fireflies. Abby still thinks it's a pipe dream, but Owen insists on checking it out.
It's a lead. I gotta see it through.
This is the exact same thing Abby said about going to Jackson.
It's a lead. I gotta see it through.
And it reopens all sorts of old wounds. As Abby explained before, she and Owen have been avoiding each other since they killed Joel. It completely changed the way Owen sees Abby. She's no longer just the ball-busting Firefly he fell in love with. She's also a cold-blooded killer who tortured a man to death in front of him. And now, after all this time, after all this resentment has built up, they finally talk about it. Owen taunts Abby.
Should I go find the people that killed my family? Cut into them? I could torture them until they're crying, you know?
And she attacks him. He fights back, and once they've started touching each other, it's game over. They quickly stop fighting and start fucking. This sex scene has become weirdly infamous since the game came out. It's only a few seconds long, we cut to black after a few pumps, and it's no more or less graphic than your average sex scene. But for some reason, a lot of men get really hot and bothered when they see a woman experiencing sexual pleasure.
Oh my god.
She can't do that. Shoot her or something.
Sex scenes in movies and TV shows and video games, and certainly in porn, tend to prioritize the male gaze and male pleasure. Everything's set up so the man enjoys himself and the woman feels degraded and lesser than. So when pole-clutching prudes and misogynistic incels alike see a sex scene like this, where the camera and the plot and the performances are all focused on the woman's pleasure, they freak out.
I know I'm a man of God, but that is hot!
Abby and Owen's sex scene has a clear parallel to Ellie and Dina's sex scene. Both of these fateful rolls in the hay arrive at a crucial turning point in the character's journey, and they're both so charged, so passionate, that it feels like it's been a long time coming. Both couples have been denying these feelings for each other for a long time. Ellie and Dina because they were worried about jeopardizing their friendship, and Abby and Owen because Owen has a new girlfriend now and a kid on the way. But when they're trapped together in an enclosed space, whether it's a snowed-in library or a broken down old sailboat, they finally act on those feelings and have some of the hottest, wildest, and I assume smelliest sex you can imagine. Seriously, Abby just ran for her life through the muddy forest, swam in stagnant seawater, and got in several hand-to-hand fights with crusty, rotting mutants. And now Owen is just like licking her body. In her post-coital slumber, Abby's hospital nightmare recurs. She's still having this bad dream every night. But this time it's different. A second traumatic event is bleeding into this one. Abby walks down the hospital hallway as usual and goes into the operating room where she found her dad dead. But this time, the OR is mashed up with the forest she just escaped from, where Lev and Yara are hanging from a pair of nooses. Abby wakes with a start, and she knows what she has to do. It's too late for her to save her dad, but she can still go back and save those kids. And thus begins Abby's journey back to the light.
Those fucking kids.
See you next time for Abby Day 2. Between Abby bonding with Lev, the sheer exhilarating terror of the descent, and the climactic boss battle oozing with emotional subtext, Abby Day 2 might be my absolute favourite section of the game. It's got its own self-contained narrative structure with a clear beginning, middle and end. And by the end of it, Abby is a completely changed person on the road to redemption. I'll have a lot to say about Abby and Lev's adventure to and from the hospital, so stay tuned. Until then, keep finding something to fight for. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video. Remember to like and subscribe and click on the little bell. And also seize the day and call your mom and be kind to yourself.
Ah!